We're always told there are basically two ways to get rich, right? You either climb the corporate ladder for like 40 years, or you roll the dice on some crazy tech startup. But what if that's not the whole story? What if there's a third path, one that's maybe a little less glamorous, but a whole lot more reliable? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Codie Sanchez's blueprint for buying what she calls boring but incredibly profitable businesses.
So let's just jump right in and ask the big question. Is the common path to wealth kind of a lie? I mean, the media just loves that story of the genius founder in a hoodie changing the world. But according to Codie Sanchez, that whole narrative isn't just flawed. It's actually distracting us from where real, attainable wealth is just hiding in plain sight. And that brings us to our first big idea here, what we can call the startup fallacy. It's time to bust this romantic myth of the unicorn founder. Because honestly, that story is more often a recipe for spectacular failure than it is for success.
Okay, look at this comparison. It lays it all out so clearly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the startup dream. We're talking extremely high risk, maybe years before you ever turn a profit, and a failure rate that is, well, just staggering. But then you look at the acquisition reality. The risk is so much lower. You've got cash flow coming in from day one, and the failure rate, well, it's a proven business, so it's naturally way, way lower. The key thing to get here is you're not starting from zero, you're starting from one. This quote from Codie really gets to the heart of the mindset shift. She says, innovation is not always about creating something new. It is often about fixing what is already broken in plain sight. The real money isn't in inventing the next big thing, it's in optimizing what already exists. Think about the silver tsunami. Over the next decade, millions of baby boomer business owners are getting ready to retire. This is creating the largest transfer of wealth in history. They're looking for someone to come in, take over, and maybe modernize businesses that are already proven to work.
So if we're not chasing startups, what are we chasing? This leads us right to the core of this whole strategy, the power of boring. And let me tell you, there's a reason these unsexy businesses often have some very exciting bank accounts. And we're not talking about some abstract concept. Look at these examples. These are the businesses you drive by every single day. Laundromats, car washes, HVAC repair, waste management. These are the gold mines hiding right under our noses. So why are they so valuable? Simple. They're pretty much recession resistant. No matter what the economy's doing, people are always going to need clean clothes, their cars to work, and their trash taken out. And here's the key insight, really. The most boring businesses often have the most exciting bank accounts because they solve the problems that never go away. It's all about choosing stability and consistent, predictable cash flow over hype and glamour. It's just a smarter way to play the game. All right, so right about now, you're probably thinking, this all sounds great, but I don't have $1 million sitting in the bank to buy a business. And you know what? That is the #1 mental barrier for most people. So in this next section, we're going to completely dismantle it. The one concept that unlocks this entire world is called seller financing. It's a total game changer. What it means is the seller of the business basically acts as your bank. You, the buyer, might put down a small amount of money, and the seller finances the rest of the deal for you. Then, and this is the beautiful part, you pay them back over time using the profits from the very business you just bought. It's so powerful because it gets everyone on the same team. The seller is now literally financially invested in your success. This is exactly how you use what Sanchez calls good debt, debt that's used to buy a cash-flowing asset. The process is surprisingly simple when you break it down. Step 1, find a profitable business that's already making money. Step 2, you structure a deal using financing, like we just talked about. Step 3, and here's the magic trick. You use the business's own profits to pay off the loan. And then step 4, boom, you own a valuable, income-producing asset that pretty much paid for itself. Okay, but buying the business, that's really only half the battle. The next part is absolutely critical, and it's all about becoming an owner, not an operator. This is how you avoid the trap of just buying yourself another, probably more stressful job. Let's really look at the difference here. The operator, that's the job. They're working in the business, focused on all the daily tasks, and they quickly become the bottleneck. If they get sick or need a vacation, the business grinds to a halt. But the owner? They're building a system. They work on the business, focusing on big picture strategy and building systems that allow the business to run smoothly without them. And this quote is one that should really stick with you. If your business depends on you to be there every day, you don't own a business, you own a job that you can't quit. Oof. The goal here isn't to buy yourself a new prison.
The whole point is to build an asset that works for you, generating income and, most importantly, freedom. That's the real endgame. So all of this leads to a final, really powerful metaphor that just ties everything together. It's time to stop being a player at the table and start building your own casino. It's about shifting your role from being a player to becoming the house. The core mindset shift is really this simple. Stop being a player, start building the house. So what does that actually mean? Well, think about it. An employee, they're a player. They're trading their time for money, playing by someone else's rules. But the owner of the system, they're the house. They set the rules, and the odds are always structured to be in their favor. And that brings us to the ultimate takeaway from Codie Sanchez. The house always wins, so stop being a player and start building the house. This is about so much more than just money. It's about taking back control. It's about reclaiming your economic agency and actually designing the financial reality you want to live in. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Just look around your own neighborhood, your own town, next time you're out. What boring business is just quietly printing money day in and day out, just waiting for a new owner to come in and unlock its full potential? Chances are it's right there in front of you.